Clari Align powers modern collaboration between buyers and sellers throughout the entire revenue process. This makes buying and selling easier, but it also makes revenue more predictable. Now, there are 3 key places where we can do this, and we'll demonstrate that in this 5-minute video. First is the relationship between the rep and the buyer. Second, the relationship between the rep and the frontline manager. And third, how the entire sales org can use mutual action plans to ensure process is being implemented consistently, not just during the sale, but throughout the entire revenue cycle. Let's get into it. So the first place we look is at the mutual action plan itself. This is where the buyer and the seller are going to collaborate, ideally working towards fixing a problem that the seller has identified with the buyer. Now, if you do this consistently, then the rep's going to have immense credibility because we're showing the customer that we've done this before, we know all the kinks, and you're in a safe hands with this particular vendor. So that's going to reduce risk, make it easier for the buyer to make the case internally that we should go ahead and work with this with this vendor. That's going to in turn have a faster close and more likely to have a successful close because you've shown trust, you've identified that you're working on that customer's problems, and you're providing a clear, safe path to fix those problems. Starts off with the value prop. Now this all comes from a template, but the value prop is a great place for the customer to see this rep understands what my needs are, and they have a clear path with metrics so they can add this and just customize it per deal for how are we actually going to work together. Once we agree on the value prop, on that North Star, then the mutual action plan itself shows what are the steps to actually get there. You can have private milestones for those things that you only want to share with your teammates, or you can have public milestones that both the rep and the buying team are seeing together so they can collaborate. They're going to collaborate on the mutual action plan itself, and then they can also use shared files to have details ready so that everything they need, both for discovery and through implementation and value, is all in one place. This makes it a lot easier for the buyer and also makes it easier for the sales team as well to do the handover from pre-sales over into implementation. The second place to look is the relationship between the rep and the frontline manager. So this is where we're concerned about forecast being accurate. We want to make sure the deals are not going to slip into the next quarter, that we're pulling in anything that we can pull in early, and that we have good resource allocation for things like solutions engineers, customer success, to know when is this deal actually ready to move on to those other departments. Let's take a look at that. So instead of looking at the individual deal, instead I'm going to look at Clari itself. So here is my my opportunity grid, and for every deal on the deal here, I can go and see the mutual action plan that's related to it. And this is all in one place, so I'm doing my deal management in the same place that I'm doing my book management as a rep, and then as a manager, when I'm doing my one-on-ones, I can see all of the deals that my rep is working on, and I can see the specific steps that they're taking care of through the mutual action plan. What's important here is that it's working in a collaboration with the other insights that Clari is already providing, like a deal, insights, the relationship insights, all of this working together so that you have a really, really tight deal inspection process with much less work required on behalf of the rep, so they can spend their time out selling instead of preparing for deal inspections. If you do this right, then it's very easy to have a very, very confident deal forecast based on what the actual deals are going to be doing. Now, if there is a deal that doesn't have a mutual action plan yet, then all they need to do is go over to here, and it will say no mutual action plan. So the rep will just create a mutual action plan, and that's going to start the new map process where they're picking a template from one of the templates that you as the organization have created. They'll pick that, they'll make sure that the timing is all right. We're pulling that timing in from Clari itself, and then they can create that map just with a couple of clicks, and they have the outline of what they're going to do with that customer ready for them to start customizing this with the customer themselves. One really nice feature is also the ability to look at just the mutual action plans that you're running. So if you click onto the dashboard here, as a rep, I can see all of the mutual action plans that I'm working on, and I can go to what's next mode, so that now I'm looking at today and I'm saying, what do I need to do before I can get out of here, before I can be done for the week, and make sure that I'm not dropping any balls. This is also very helpful for solutions engineers, for example, to come and see which deals am I working on that need my help right now. We've looked at how the rep can use the mutual action plan for engaging the customer, and we've looked at how the mutual action plan can be used between the rep and the frontline manager. But let's also spend a couple of minutes talking about implementing process. This is where templates really come to life. Let's take a look at using templates to implement a change in process across the entire revenue org. So I'm going to go over into my template manager right here. Here's the templates. Every organization can have as many templates as they like, and you can imagine a bunch of templates for pre-sales, for enterprise versus commercial, but then you can also have templates for post-sales. So here's how we're going to deliver value, or here's how we're going to do a renewal. What you end up with, though, is a much smoother transfer of ownership across the different members of the revenue organization, and you end up with more consistency. So if you want to make a change to your process, all you do is you pop in here and you edit the template itself. Now, rather than some massive change management expectation, reps are just using the new and improved template, and they're iteratively improving that sales process every single time you update the template. Align delivers the power of collaboration with your customer and collaboration inside your own organization to get better alignment across all the stakeholders in your revenue process. We look forward to helping your revenue process become more connected, efficient, and predictable.